I said that mathematicians, we kind of are the ones, we invented text lingo. We invented shortening things. And what I mean by that is instead of writing length, width, height, I don't know if I want to say we're lazy. I just like to say we're smart. We're smart. So instead of L, or length, we're going to use L. Width, what do you think? W. Height, H. So what this is representing is when you are working with an object, a three-dimensional object like this box or this rectangular prism, or let's go with Dora. You're going to have three different measurements. Remember, we explored this already. We have a measurement that goes up and down. We figured out that that was the height. Side to side, you could say that's width. And then the diagonal, when you see it drawn, it's going to be right there, and that would be length. So we have W, H, and L. So width, length, height. We don't need to measure every single part because remember, once we found how tall this part is, we know that this part is the same height, this back corner, this part's the same height, and that part's the same height. So let's explore and make sure that we're able to understand our three different measurements as we would see it maybe on a math problem. My recreation, and look at those. Look at those art skills. That's Dora's face. That looks just like Dora, huh? What do you think? Getting good. Figured I'd do that for fun. Granted, your pictures, if you were to see something, won't have the picture of Dora on there, but you're still going to have the same things. You'll have your lines that are going up and down to represent the height of your object, side to side to show your width or length, and then the diagonal lines that you see, the dotted diagonal, the diagonal lines going at the top to represent the last measurement. Because some people might say that this front part is the width, and then so that would leave this as being the length. I don't want you to get too technical as saying which one's the width, which one's the length. You just need to make sure that there's only one number you use for width, one number you use for length, and one number that you use for the height. So that gives you a total of 3 measurements. So at the very top I wrote out width, length, height. So if you need to, you can write out the whole word, or if you want to, you can be like us, lazy or smart. We're smart. The mathematicians that like to just use the letters. Height, length, width. So what we need to do is make sure that we find one of the measurements for the height. So if we just say we're going to use this one, we're going to use that. Great, circle it. That's the height. I have it as 11.5 inches. Then I want to go to one of the next measurements, the 3. I'm going to use that as the width. So right there's width, my W. Then last but not least, I have one open spot. I need to find that measurement. Down here, it's hard to see, but I did write the number 8. So, number 8. So if I'm using these 3 numbers, how we use this when we, give me a moment here, we're going to focus on rectangular prism, which is the volume will be the length times the width times the height. So what's going to happen is, this is kind of algebra. Wherever you see the L, we're going to insert the 8. So now I'm going to let Dora go bye-bye. So I know some of you are sad about that. But volume formula is LWH. So where you see the length, or the H, I'm sorry, the H, we're going to put 11.5. Well, then next we have the length, which is 8. So where you see the L, we're going to put an 8 there. And then W was 3, so we're going to put a 3 there. So now what looks crazy about this is you just see numbers. The one thing that a lot of students maybe are still not 100% confident about or sure of, when you have just these letters standing next to each other like that, there's an invisible multiplication sign. So some people use the little dot to represent multiplication, or they can use an X. So for us, we'll just use a little dot, and that dot can represent multiplication. So this means we're going to multiply 8 by 3 by 11.5. And all of that is going to equal whatever V is. I didn't explain what V is, but that is another short way of writing volume. So if we were to go multiply 8 times 3, which is going to give us 24, then multiply that by 11.5, we're going to have something over 240 inches. I'm not the best estimator. I'm going to guess it's 252. Just my guess. But the key is, remember we were always in inches. So 252 inches cubed. So at this point, we've talked and explored a lot of things. So if there's anything you want to, you can always rewind, go back to the video. I apologize, my handwriting is not the prettiest. But if there's any of this, this was a way to explore two different objects that were rectangular prisms. Discuss volume, what you're going to fill up inside. Ta-da! Or surface area. Exploring the surface area if I decided I wanted to wrap it up in a little bit of Frosty the Snowman. We've got Sophia the First over here as well. For the young ladies, my daughters like Sophia the First. Or anything else that you decide. But I always like to do this, and maybe this will be a fun trick you can do in the future. Having somebody think they're getting something spectacularly big, and you just give them maybe a mechanical pencil. So that's always a nice fun thing that I like to do. But that was a way for us to explore volume and surface area. So thank you very much. Hopefully it was helpful for you.